Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna do a little story time. Now, I'm not intending for my channel to be a story time channel, but I just have a few stories here and there that I think you guys will find funny, so I want to share them with you guys. So this is a story about me and this guy that I used to kick it with back in high school. So I think it was like the 11th grade. How old are you? In the 11th grade, you're 17, yes. So I was 17 years old. I was in the 11th grade and I started kicking it with this guy. He was my classmate. I'm gonna put it like that. So we were in the same, had a few of the same classes, Now, when I was 17, I was living the normal 17-year-old life, hanging out with my friends, going to parties, doing extracurricular activities with school. I was in the beta club, I was in the band, and I just, had a normal life. So me and this guy, like I said, he was my classmate. We started kicking it or whatever. We were not in a relationship. We didn't have a title, but it was understood that you for me, and I'm for you, period. So we had an understanding that it was just us two. He wasn't talking to nobody, and I wasn't talking to nobody. So we was kicking it, getting really acquainted with each other and stuff. Yeah, like I said, so we were getting really acquainted with each other and stuff. And let me just give you a backstory on this guy. And we are gonna call him Eric for the sake of this video. So this guy, he was also 17 as well. We were the same age. Like I said, we were classmates. He had a habit of, okay, before I get into that, he was just the class clown. He was really funny. He was outgoing. He was popular, whatever. He was a nice dresser. He was real cute. So all the girls was after him. He was cute, period. Okay. So this guy, he had a habit of having dealings with older women, like women that were older than us, like y'all. So when I met him, well, not when I met him, but when we started hanging out, he had a kid. He had a baby, which I wasn't really too much tripping on because it was explained to me that him and his baby mom, they were no longer. They was just, being cordial for their kid. His baby mom was 4 or 5 years older than us. She was like 21 or 22. Mind you, we're 17. So his baby mom was like 4 to 5 years older than us. So we're gonna call her Candace. So Eric and Candace had a kid, okay? But this was before me. Like, they had a kid like a year prior to us getting involved. So while we were like hanging out and stuff, it never was an issue with like his baby mom. I always just assumed, that's what he told me. They're not kicking it. They're not doing anything. That's just them, whatever. So I was cool with it, me being young and dumb, naive. So we're doing regular 17-year-old stuff. Like, we hanging out, we going out to the block parties and stuff. Like, we're doing normal stuff. So I knew about the baby mom. Like, I knew who she was, but she didn't know me. Like, we had never crossed paths. We just always heard stories about her because she used to do crazy and erratic stuff to him. I guess because like she still wanted to be with him. So they stayed like into altercations and arguments and stuff. So I didn't know her personally, but I knew of her based off what was going around school. So we fast forward to, was it second semester, 11th grade. It was time for prom. So when it came to prom, we didn't want to go with each other. We just kept a low profile. So he went by himself and I went by myself. But we still linked up at prom. We still hung out at prom, whatever. So after prom, everybody went to the casino. So we all went out to the casino. We was young as hell. I don't know what we thought we was going to do at the casino. We went to eat and then we couldn't do anything else because we was 17. Like, they wouldn't even let us on the floor. I don't know. We just had a habit of going to the casino because that's pretty much the only recreational thing that we had to do in my town. So at the casino, well, after prom, I went home and I changed into my after prom dress. Now, this dress was very tight, very fitted to my body. I have curves. It was just, I was looking real right, okay? So we get there and I see him. He literally was texting my phone, acting so crazy about what I had on. So we ended up getting into it. So I was just like, you know what? Forget it. I'm not even finna fool with him tonight. I'm just with my friends. We just gonna have a good time. So after prom, after the casino, we ended up going home. I went to my house and then one of my friends stayed the night with me. So the weekend, so prom was on a Friday and this was Saturday, coming up on Saturday. Yes. So this was Saturday. I still have my prom do up. I'm just chilling around the house. One of my friends had came over and my phone started ringing. And I'm like, who is this? It was a number I didn't even have saved. I was like, who is this? Like, I don't even know who this is. So I answered the phone and I was like, hello. And it was a girl. And we're gonna call her Raven. So Raven calls me because she heard around town that I was kicking it with Eric. And she got a problem with that. Well, she didn't have a problem with me. She just has a problem with that we're kicking it because she's supposed to be pregnant by him. Okay? Follow me here. Keep up with me here, okay? Raven is pregnant. Okay. By Eric. All right? So this is what, well, Raven didn't come out and tell me that she was pregnant when she called my phone. I'm still trying to figure out where she got my number from. So she didn't tell me that. She just said, oh, you know, I'm just coming to you because I heard that y'all were talking or whatever and kicking it and stuff. And I just want to let you know that we be hanging out. We're together, Mind you, Raven graduated about 3 years before us. So Raven was about 3 years older than us. Remember, I told y'all he had a reputation for dealing with older women. So I'm on the phone and I'm all distraught because even though me and him got into it after prom, it still was like, that's my man. Like, we gonna talk. It's not gonna be nothing. We just had a little tiff. So now I'm like upset because I'm like, okay, we've been talking for a few months now and this girl talking about y'all been going steady and y'all just going strong. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. So I was like, okay. She was like, do you want to come to my cousin's house and we could go confront him? So I was all for that because I'm just like, you not finna play me, period. So me and my friend got in my friend's car and she drove me over to Raven's cousin's house. We picked up Raven and her cousin, I believe, or either her cousin got in her car and she trailed us over there. Either way, me, my friend, oh, I know what it was. Me and my friend that were at my house, we went and picked up my other friend and then we went and picked up Raven. And then Raven's cousins trailed us over to Eric's house. So the whole ride over to Eric's house, I'm just like, I couldn't believe it. I had bubble guts, y'all. So we pulled up over at the house or whatever. So she gets out and she goes in first. So she goes in first, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and go in. So my friend parks her car and we go in the house about 10 minutes after Raven has been in the house. So I walk in the house. Mind you, we hadn't talked since we got into it the night before. So I walk in the house and he's just spooked. Like, just spooked. He just couldn't believe his eyes. So he's like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "I'm trying to figure out what's going on," because Raven called me and she basically said, "Y'all hanging out, like y'all together or whatever." So I'm just like, wow. So also, plot twist, when I walk in the house, the baby mom is there. He made it seem like she had dropped the baby off and she left. She was there hanging out too. So this started getting my mind to wondering if they were still messing around. So I'm like, okay, something ain't right. This whole situation is horrible. So then Raven is a firecracker. Like, she didn't really care what she said. She was real reckless at the mouth. Whatever. With Raven being a firecracker, that kind of gave me ammunition. Usually I'm to myself. I'm not very confrontational, but it gave me ammunition just because, nigga, you got me messed up. Like, so I start pressing him while she's pressing him. So the baby mama is chiming in. Candace, she's chiming in. She's trying to be a referee. And she's just like, "Ooh, my baby daddy ain't ish." And she just kept on. So I'm looking at her and I'm like, "Sweetie, this ain't about you." So then he gets overwhelmed and frustrated of us pressing him. We all into it. Everybody's arguing. So he gets in his car and he leaves. So he leaves his own house while we're all in his house. So me and my friends, we get in the car. We're like, "No, we not gonna let him go that easy. We finna chase him." Literally, y'all, when he figured out we were following him, he started going, like, driving so fast. Like, literally, we were speeding through town, going through neighborhood to neighborhood, doing like 90, running red lights uptown, like trying to chase him. Eventually, he outran us. Don't know where he went, don't know how it went down. So I had an adrenaline rush because we had been chasing him for like 25 minutes. It was crazy. Like, y'all, it was like a high-speed chase. And we were trying to get him cornered, but we never could. So we ended up going back to his house. I don't know why. I don't remember what the reason was we went back to his house. So no, it was because we were trying to wait to see if he would come home to attack him again. So me, Candace, which is the baby mom, and the girl Raven, which is the one that called my phone saying they've been messing around, we were just talking, and the baby mom, Candace, she was just saying, she didn't know anything about me, and I was like, "Well, I knew of you just because of, things around school, things around town." And me and Candace, we actually knew each other. Not Candace, me and Raven, we actually knew each other from around the way, but we never was really like friends like that. So I'm just listening to them conversing, and I'm just like, where do I fit in this equation? I'm a 17-year-old girl who got her whole life ahead of her. Here we got Candace, the baby mama, who is like 22 at the time. And we got Raven, who is like 21 at the time. And she comes out and says that she's pregnant too, or she's pregnant with his kid. And I'm like, where do I fit in this equation? Like, so I was like, okay, you're pregnant too, or you're pregnant, like not two, because the other baby moms, she wasn't pregnant, she just had a baby. But I was like, you're pregnant? So Candace lets on that she's pregnant. Not Candace, I'm sorry. Raven lets on that she's pregnant. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. And Raven's cousins and stuff were there with me too. And Raven's cousin was like, yeah, she's pregnant. She's possibly getting an abortion. And Raven was like, yeah, I'm gonna be drinking tonight. I'm gonna be doing all this, doing all that, because I don't want this baby. Da 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 da, just going on and on and on and on and on. So I'm just like, okay, this whole day has been super weird for me. Let me take my 17-year-old tail to the house, because this is not a place for somebody like me. When I got home, of course, I was like sad. I was heartbroken because, like, I really thought we had something. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, okay, whatever, like, just forget about it. It's cool. So literally, Sunday passes, and then Monday, I think we were out of school for like some type of holiday, the Monday. So word gets out that Eric and the baby mama Candace got into it, and he kicked Candace down the stairs at his house. So we go back to school Tuesday, and he's not there because he locked up. I think Wednesday he came back to school. So everybody, that was just the talk of the school, like how he had kicked Candace down the stairs and she pressed charges on him, and that's why he was locked up, da 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 da. So I was just like, okay, this is too much. Like, I don't know if I need to stay or if I need to go, just remove myself from the situation. Well, somehow we ended up talking again, not even like a week later. I can't even remember. It wasn't long though. So we started talking again, and so he asked me to come over to his house. So I went over to his house because he wanted me to take him somewhere. I couldn't remember. I can't remember where he wanted me to take him to, but I went over there. And while I was over there, we were just sitting in the car, and his baby mama, Candace, brings the baby over there while I'm there. So we're sitting in the car. He gets the baby from her. The baby's sitting in the car with us, and we're just talking, and she's just coming up to the window, and she's starting stuff, like she's saying all kind of stuff, and he's ignoring her. And all of a sudden I hear, I'll drop the charges if you drop the rape charge. I said, what? So remember, I told y'all she pressed charges on him for pushing her down the stairs. So his mom made him counter press charges for statutory rape because he was 16 when he got her pregnant and she was 21. Like, how ghetto. Like, it was super ghetto. Like, y'all. So I'm just like, I'm taking it all in. I'm shocked. I was like, you pressed charges on her for statutory rape? He was like, yeah. So I was just like, okay, this is getting real weird. So they ended up getting into it while I'm sitting there, while the baby's in the car. So I'm just like, okay, do you want me to just drive off? Because I'm not really trying to get involved with all this. So by this time, he had gave her the baby back. So she ended up leaving. And we're still sitting outside talking. We really wasn't letting that faze us. So then she comes back, and she comes back with none other than Raven. So she comes back with Raven, sweetie. And Raven gets it popping, because I told y'all Raven was a firecracker. She got it popping. She was cussing me, cussing him, all this other stuff. She claimed she was still pregnant. And it was just a lot. So he was like, just drive off, just drive off, just drive off. So I'm driving. I drove off. They're following us. So again, here we go with this high-speed chase stuff again. They're following me all through town. They're just on our tail, like she's trying to fight me. She calling my phone, talking about she gonna fight me, this, that, and the third. I'm like, ooh, I didn't sign up for this. Like, this is not gonna be what that is. But I was just like, okay, let me just go home. I was like, look, if you want to come to my house, you can come to my house to get away from these crazy fools. But I'm going home because I'm just not, like, y'all not gonna be chasing me around town, period. So eventually everything died down and I ended up taking him home. So when I got home, somehow the baby mama found out where I stayed, and she started riding by my house. Like, she was riding by my house every day. Every day she would be riding by my house. And I'm just like, okay, this is too much. So then somehow she ended up getting my phone number, and she just started texting me all this crazy stuff. And then one day, this was like maybe 3 days after everything had went down, she texted me and she was like, since you trying to be with my nigga, tell him the baby needs some Pampers. So I'm just like, why are you texting me? I'm at school, sweetie. Like, I'm like, okay, the baby needs Pampers. So we go to lunch, and me and him, we had the same lunch period, me and Eric, and we sat at the same lunch table. He just sat further down than me. So I thought it was the bright idea to go to him and pull him to the side. I was like, hey, Candy's been texting me all day talking about the baby need Pampers, this, that, and the third. Y'all, he snapped out on me. He snapped, crackled, and popped. He was like, don't you ever pull me to the side on no shit that Candace done text you and told you, da 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 da, just going off. And I'm just like, look, I'm just trying to help. I really don't even want to get involved with this. I was just like, okay, whatever. So Candace still would text me and say all kind of crazy stuff. She was still riding past my house, whatever. So anyways, I was just being young and naive, and I was riding, baby. I was riding. Like, I really liked him, so I kept interacting with him. Then later we really found out that Raven wasn't even pregnant. She was just fronting. See what I'm saying? She was fronting, trying to get me all twisted up. She was fronting. So we kept on hanging out and stuff. Like, we just kept texting, talking on the phone, hanging out with each other. None of that really did faze us. But the dysfunctionalness just kept going on. And then eventually it was like summer right before the 12th grade. And I was like, look, I just can't do this anymore, because it just got too much. Like, it's like the baby mama, she never would let up. Raven was still acting crazy, and it was just too much for a young tender like me. So I had to gather my things and move right along. But yeah, guys. So that's just a story that I wanted to tell you guys of why I don't deal with dudes that have kids, because it's just too much. It's like so much gray area. Things are never black and white with a guy that has children. Well, in my experience, things are never black and white. Like, it's too many gray areas. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you are my friend or you an OG, you go way back with me, who y'all think I'm talking about? Who do y'all think I'm talking about? Like, who do y'all think I'm talking about? I know y'all know who I'm talking about. I know y'all know who Eric is. But we're not gonna drop no names, so don't drop no names in my comments. But comment and say, I know who you're talking about, if you know who I'm talking about. Anyways, guys, this has been fun. We're gonna head on out. If you guys like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you want me to continue to give you story times or more stories or things that I've been through, let me know and I'll be sure to oblige. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.